Hey, what's going on? It's CHGO Tavern Style. My name is Mario Tirabassi with the CHGO Blackhawks crew.
I'm Vinnie Duber from CHGO White Sox.
And it is time for the Midsummer Classic, the
Absolutely.
MLB All-Star game and the festivities that surround it. Always a fun time, always a good marker in the summer of, like, we are at the midpoint. Make sure you're enjoying your summer as much as possible because it is completely baseball season. Like, everything's off. Like, it is baseball season right in the middle of the year. This is usually the time I tune into baseball. I know you're always tuned into it 24/7. Yeah.
Welcome.
And so, like, I love the All-Star game. I love all the festivities around it. Any All-Star game is really good to see, like, especially for me as super casual, to see, like, okay, who are still some of the top guys, and like let's have some fun.
Absolutely. Nothing more fun than the Home Run Derby in my mind. I mean, that was always the highlight of All-Star Week.
Oh, yeah.
You want to turn on the All-Star game. You want to see, them play the actual game, all the pomp and circumstance that goes with that. But nothing more fun than the Home Run Derby, whether it's, Ken Griffey Jr. turning the hat around or
Iconic.
Just the wacky batting practice uniforms that they always happen to come up with. Listen. You said it before we started rolling here. Chicks dig the long ball. Everybody digs the long ball. Home runs are fantastic. And when you get to see a lot of them all in one night, can't beat it.
Yeah, a Home Run Derby is one of those events that, like, brings the kid out of everybody. And I know for me, one of my most fun memories just of baseball is going to the 2002 Home Run Derby and All-Star game at the artist formerly known as Miller Park. Right after it had opened, like, it was really cool just to be there, to see the new stadium, and then you had all the festivities going on, and it was Sammy Sosa just launching balls, like, into Bernie's chalet. Like, it was awesome. And as a 12-year-old kid, like, just going to the All-Star game, seeing all the different, like, activities and stuff. And like, I remember they had this, like, historical booth where, like, you could go and, like, relive some of, like, the historical moments in baseball and stuff. And I remember you could record a broadcast over the highlight of yourself. So me and my dad, like, re-recorded Kirk Gibson hitting the home run. And you got like a little, CD of the recording, so you could play. Oh my God, I got to try and find that. But the game was obviously remembered for ending in a tie, and my dad and I were there, and it was just chaotic because you were just like, well, why are they stopping the game? Just play, like, what's the problem? Play the game and to a finish. Like, there's never been a tie in a modern baseball game. Why should there be one in the All-Star game? It's just one of those things where it's just like one of those memories that I always come back to. And the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, like, it always brings me back to, like, that kid feeling, which is, like, I don't know, that's one of those, like etched in time things that baseball does.
Absolutely. I mean, we're the same age, as you just revealed, because a year later, in my first year as a teenager, I was here on the south side of Chicago at the Home Run Derby at then known as U.S. Cellular Field. I was sitting at the second row from the top. Those seats no longer exist anymore. They chopped them off the top since then because they were just too high. But boy, did we get to see quite a show as Garrett Anderson won the Home Run Derby. You'll remember that year. Yeah. I think Albert Pujols was probably the reason most people came out for that one, but Garrett Anderson emerged victorious. Yeah. But listen, throughout the years, you could remember back to where the All-Star game was and what year it was based on who won the Derby. And for me, nothing was better than once they switched it over to the tournament-style format, and you had two instances, Cincinnati with Todd Frazier winning the whole thing, and Washington with Bryce Harper winning the whole thing, where the hometown player won the tournament and the place was up for grabs. It was awesome. Like you're watching a playoff game in the middle of the season because that crowd had something to root for. I covered that one in DC when Bryce Harper beat Kyle Schwarber in the finals. My God,
awesome
there's seriously only a few things that I've ever covered that I thought were more fun than that. So the Home Run Derby is great. I know they've tweaked with the formula a little bit over the years. I would like to see, as Sean's about to chime in, I would like to see the thing that we saw during the skills competition in the futures game come to the Home Run Derby, which is see if they can place them. Yeah. See if they can hit the ball in very specific places in the seats, make the targets not big but kind of small, and see if they can drop them in there in different areas out in the crowd.
I know you're a big fan of MVP Baseball 2005.
Yep.
So if they just had the hitting mini game where they're hitting it off like ramps that are like escalators,
absolutely,
firing over the wall, I'm all for
targets.
that. But kind of the opposite of you, they've messed with the format so much because there have been some terrible home run derbies, and I would feel ashamed not to bring up the 1990 home run derby where hometown kid Ryan Sandberg wins the home run derby with 1 home run.
Hey.
That place was not up for grabs. No one wanted to be there, including the hitters in the home run derby.
And that's not a difficult park to hit a home run in either at Wrigley Field. I mean, that's the thing too. Imagine how you could incorporate some of the stadium elements into that. Mm-hmm. People banging home run balls off the scoreboard in center field at Wrigley Field. Drop it. You get an extra few bonus points if you hit them down the streets. I mean, come on. There's so many things that they could do. Obviously, we have seen home run derbies in parks that are on the water, and that's always really, really fun. I just love the home run derby, and I can't wait to see what tweaks they make going forward to keep kind of making it novel every year.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a skills competition in baseball because I mean home runs, everybody loves those, but I would love to see like who can like put a bunt down the line or something like that, or like I always think of like different like mini game, like you could do like like a pickoff competition, like from catch, like throwing to second, like, who's got the fastest like gun to get there. And then at the same time, you could have guys trying to steal second on the catchers. Obviously, you don't want anyone getting injured in All-Star game, silliness, but All-Star games are for the fans. Like I'm always an advocate of like, as much as you can make something like Sean said, like a video game and make it fun and appealing and give an opportunity for, players to bring out their personalities. Like that's something that I love to see at All-Star games. Like NBA does a good job of that. The Pro Bowl feel like it used to do a good job of that until none of the players were interested in doing that. The NHL is like pulling teeth to get players to want to do that. But yeah, I feel like baseball, they have a good mix of like, good personalities, guys coming together to have some fun. I always remember too, like in the early 2000s, it'd be like, the home run derby, and then you get the guys sitting on the sidelines by the dugouts with their families, and they all got their like Sony handy cams and stuff, like taking videos and stuff. I just remember that, and it's the home run derby is a fun time. MLB All-Star Game is a fun time for like seeing those the pros come back and like just have some fun. And to take from the NHL All-Star Game, we could probably have like hardest shot / hardest pitch, where they had Zdeno Chara, who just won it every single year. We could have that and basically Aroldis Chapman. So there you go. I mean, you could just take that and have that until Chapman retires. Like one skill guy, or not one skill, but like the guys that like you're known for that thing, like throwing hard or whatever. Like
let's get Billy Hamilton to run around the bases like 8 times in a minute.
You get to tell Michael Kopech he gets to throw fastballs as fast as he wants,
and there's no such thing as a ball or a strike.
Right? Yeah. Just throw it as fast as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it. Well, I'm definitely going to be tuning in to the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby. I know all 3 of us are going to be doing it. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully we get some good showings from the Chicago guys that are going to be there. And I know, during the regular season, it hasn't really been that much. But hey, All-Star Game, it's a good time to show up and have some fun. So that has been CHGO Tavern Style. For Vinnie Duber, I'm Mario Tirabassi. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.